Yo, what is going on, guys? It is TrainerOblivio. I am here today, super happy to announce that this is going to be the first in a series of videos that I'll be making for Scarlet and Violet officially. So this will be the first video that I'm uploading to YouTube for Scarlet and Violet. In these videos, I'm going to be covering a series of topics that I asked you guys to go ahead and discuss on my Discord. With the help of you guys, I was able to decipher what I needed to do. And of course, these topics are hopefully for brand new Scarlet and Violet players, and hopefully they can use these guys to help them in their adventure. Without further ado, today's topic is money farming. As I mentioned before, guys, today's topic is going to be money farming. So, there are many methods in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that have been identified in order to farm money in the game. Money is a necessary thing to have in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because the system that Scarlet and Violet works off of is very money reliant. When I say that, what I mean is, in order to buy sandwich ingredients, in order to buy battle items, in order to buy items for your travel, such as potions and revives and things that you're going to be using throughout your journey, in order to buy clothes, etc., 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 you need money. And I wouldn't recommend using your league points on any of those items anyways. I would save your league points for TMs and things of that variation. That's for another video, however. Back to money, you really do need money, so you need a good, reliable way to farm money in this game. The way that I'm going to break down this video is I'm going to go ahead and start with the setup first. I'm going to let you guys know what I've done in order to make this viable and reliable. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what's going on and how to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, you're going to need one of the most hilarious and yet specific Pokemon in this game, Goldango. I know that a lot of you might have cringed on that fact, but listen, this Pokemon is worth it in almost every aspect. Absolutely demolishing the meta right now. And an incredible raid Pokemon. And on top of everything, it is your money farming tool. Now, let's go ahead and start with the setup. You're going to need a Goldango. Having a strong team is helpful, but having a Goldango is really all you're going to need. Your Goldango is going to carry, basically. Goldango is a really strong Pokemon that you evolve from Gimmighoul once you give it 1,000 Gimmighoul coin. That farm in and of itself is a little bit annoying. However, it is very, very useful to get one of the best Pokemon in the game. The way that I've set up this Goldango is I got it up to level 100. That right there by itself, already good enough, right? And very easy to do with the candies that you receive from raids in this game. However, what I've done is I've slapped an amulet coin on the Goldango, and then I made sure that I set it up this way specifically. Other builds might work for you. This one works specifically for me and my money farming needs. If you want to use a similar build or the same exact build, I'd recommend this one. I ran max special attack, max speed, so it can be a speedy special attacker. This Goldango not only works for me in money farming, but it works for me in raids, and it's done very well in battles for me. Its ability Glit is Gold is very broken, but once again, video for another time. What I would recommend that you run is that you run Nasty Plot to boost your special attack, Power Gem as coverage, Shadow Ball as a stab, and of course, Make It Rain. So Make It Rain is what makes this thing viable as far as money farming. What Make It Rain does, and I'll go ahead and put it up on screen for you guys. The user, of course, attacks by throwing out a mass of coins. It'll lower its special attack, but money is earned after the battle. This works similarly to Payday. However, unlike Payday, as you just seen, its base power is 120. Its base power is capable of sweeping teams, which makes this reliable and effective. This is the major reason why you choose Goldango over Persian, because Persian's Payday just isn't, even with the Technician boost, it's just not hitting hard enough to sweep. But Goldango, on the other hand, after 2 nasty plots to make sure that it goes through the battle spamming Make It Rain, you will be getting an incredible amount of money. So in a second, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how much more money we make. We're going to start by just taking a quick look here. If we zoom in right now, I have 409,912 Poké Dollars. In a moment, we're going to compare that to what I get in about, I'd say, one of these One of these tournaments will take you about no more than 10 minutes to do, and it's very effective. You can farm this. I have become a millionaire in less than an hour. So in a moment, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to enter the tournament, and I will explain exactly how we break this thing down. Now that I've shown you the build, let's go ahead and enter a tournament. Alrighty guys, outside of the reasons that we already mentioned for using Gholdengo, I'm going to go ahead and go over, as we perform the tournament in the background, a couple more reasons why we chose Gholdengo. So for starters, Gholdengo is a dangerous Pokemon, a Pokemon that's actually doing incredibly good since the game's debut. And it has the potentiality of being a sweeper. Its stat spread allows it to be an incredibly hard-hitting special attacker, paired with the move Nasty Plot and the ability Good as Gold, which does not allow for status moves to affect it, which means it cannot be taunted, so that it can't set up its Nasty Plot, and there's a lot of things that don't hinder it, such as Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp. Furthermore, going back to Gholdengo's stat spread, it is a Pokemon that has enough natural bulk that allows it to set up at least, even with the amount of Pokemon that hit really hard in this Academy tournament specifically, at least 2 Nasty Plots, and with a +4 in special attack, not only is it hitting exceedingly hard with the base 120 move, it'll also really mitigate that stat reduction, that special attack drop every turn that it gets whenever it is using the move Make It Rain. Speaking of Make It Rain, it's a hilarious move. You know, just referencing making it rain with a bunch of, you know, money, or in this case, I guess, coins. So why not have a little fun with your grind? I will say this, it is still a grind. Unfortunately, there's, from what I have found, from the research that I've done, and from what I have tried in the game, there's really not that many things that are viable money makers outside of this. Believe me, I've tried. Raids are not viable. Not to say that raids aren't good. That is a video for another time, because raids do cover a broad spectrum of things that need to be done, such as obtaining candies, ability capsules, bottle caps, etc. However, it is not good in terms of money making. If you look at the screen right now, I'm going to show the percentages that it actually takes for you to find a drop to make money off of, and I've highlighted the items that sell for, you know, a decent amount of money. But I do say decent because even these items will only sell for about a couple of grand. I think at the most, Comet Shard sells for about 16.5 grand. And ability capsules, they do go for a good amount of money. However, you do want to hold on to those for your Pokemon to change abilities and for other uses as well. You don't really want to get rid of those and sell them, as they are a valuable and expensive item. I would rather, you know, hold on to them than have to pay for them later on, since they are very expensive. Regardless, this being said, farming raids in order to sell specifically for money isn't really viable, but this tournament is. It'll only take you anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes to grind. It could even be a little bit faster. I've done this in 10 minutes. It just really depends on the opponents that you're fighting. Speaking of the opponents, Gholdengo is another great choice because, one, I tried this grind with Persian, and believe me, it didn't work. We would average, maybe if we were lucky, getting 2, maybe 3 paydays off, and even still, that wouldn't be enough to make barely 3 grand every time. With Gholdengo, however, you do have the potentiality to sweep entire teams. I believe there's specifically a trainer that has only rock Pokemon, and that Gholdengo can spam 6 Make It Rains on and absolutely obliterate, obtaining 6,000 Poké-Dollars on top of what you're already making with the Amulet coin. So it is an incredibly viable sweeper, very self-reliant, and an incredible money maker. Not only this, Gholdengo is a Pokemon that, based on the opponents and what they use, it actually has a huge move pool, and it can get away with hitting really hard after a Nasty Plot boost for basically almost all of these Pokemon. It is super effective against the vast majority of them, and for example, I do have Power Gem for coverage when I would run into a Pokemon such as Arcanine or something of that nature. It would be extremely helpful, but once again, the idea is to boost yourself up with Nasty Plot as much as possible so that you're strong enough to just wipe the team by spamming Make It Rain, not only sweeping the team, but making a lot of money in the process. With this said, within that little grind, you are averaging about a good, I do want to say anywhere between 130 to 150,000 every time you do this grind. Now that is a significant amount of money. It is certainly more reliable than raids that will only average about a good 10 grand after doing about 10 raids or so. You certainly will not be making that much money off of these raids. Not to mention, the other reason that I like the Academy over raids is because of the security that you have with the Academy. In the Academy, it's not a gamble. You come, you fight the trainers, you collect the money, and you're good. You'll get a prize at the end. With raids, you have to do the gamble of, do you have 5-star raids that are available to you that will yield the most rewards for you? Secondly, are you able to solo these raids? And are you able to beat them? Do you have Pokemon that are set up to take down these raids without you getting killed and not yielding any reward even after you were stuck in the raid for 10 plus minutes? And then also, if you're not able to, if you have to go online and rely on other people, are they able to assist you in beating these 5-6-star raids that are going to yield all of those rewards for you? It's too much of a gamble for me personally, I think, and for that reason I don't choose the raids. I avoid them because you waste way too much time and yield very little reward. With this, it's consistent. You do get a consistent amount of money, and after only maybe an hour or two of grinding, you do become a millionaire. I made enough money to be able to set up both of my competitive teams, all 6 Pokemon, fully hyper trained, EV trained, battle items, etc. Alrighty friends, we're actually done with the tournament now, the Ace Academy tournament. As I was explaining before, this is the most reliable way. I'll actually show you guys here how long it took. I actually set a timer. I timed myself to see how long exactly it would take for the tournament to go, and mind you, this is how long I took, right? 18 minutes, 12 seconds, 63 milliseconds. But this could go anyway, you know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is that I could have easily shaved off of that like a good 3 minutes and made it 15 minutes, or even more. Anywhere between, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes at the very most. I was just very distracted because I do have work in the background. So I am working. I am on the clock. I just had to run into a meeting, do a couple of things, chat a couple messages. But if I was focused grinding this out, I would say, just to give it like an ample amount of time, 15 minutes solid, if not less. Definitely 15 minutes. You can do one Ace tournament. That's 4 battles, and all the dialogue and all that nonsense. So every 15 minutes, let's go ahead and look at what we got now. We went from that 400 and, we went from that 400 and something to 548 Poké Dollars and 872 cents. Let me do the math for that really quickly for you guys, and I will be right back.
A few moments later.
Okay, I've done some quick math now on my calculator here. And so we're subtracting the 548,872 Poké Dollars from the original 409,912 Poké Dollars that we had to find the difference that we made in that 15-minute time span. And let me go ahead and show you guys on cam right now. That difference is of 138,960 Poké Dollars. So if we're gonna go ahead and math that out, right? 138,960. That's very close to 140,000. You can make well over that. You can make a little bit less than this figure. So let's go ahead and round it out to about, I didn't really sweep it, make it rain that much. I used Shadow Ball a couple of times. Let's say that you really grind it out and you can get maybe about 150,000, right? Every time. 130,000 is what I hit. Let's average it to 140,000. So 140,000 Poke Dollars times 4, because 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. Now let's multiply that by 4. In an hour, you can make 560,000 Poke Dollars in theory, give or take, right? So about 550,000 to, let's say, about, maybe if you're lucky, 600,000 Poke Dollars in an hour of grinding. Steady, constant money flow. That means that in about a 2-ish hour grind, probably not even that much, guys. Once again, these figures are very loose because I am at work and stuff, so I have been distracted by other messages and whatnot, but anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes, you can do one academy, and one academy will yield you an average of about 140,000 Poke Dollars. We are talking about anywhere between 560,000 to 600,000 Poke Dollars in an hour, easily. Potentially more if you really grind it out, but once again, that is what we yielded with this grind. Now, I know, once again, there's a lot of debunking about raids and stuff. We already talked about that. This is, in my opinion, the most effective money hunting, money farming method that I have found thus far. And once again, it solely focuses on money, which in this game is a very precious commodity. It's a resource that you really need if you want to make those competitive builds, if you want to make teams, if you want to do raids. You have to set up a Pokemon to be strong enough to take them on. So you need this money. You can get a lot of items and a lot of good stuff. The only thing that it's an issue with this, right? So we'll talk about the cons very briefly. You do have to be at the end of the game, so it's not something that's viably done from the beginning of the game. This is all post-game stuff. You'll definitely need to get a level 100 Goldango just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't even venture to say that you have to EV train it because he gets nasty plot, right? So you don't even have to give it max special attack. It just makes life that much easier. But once again, this method has proven to me time and time again to be very effective, and I hope that you guys can use it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. We're going to be discussing other topics that are going to be helpful in your game of Scarlet Invited. And once again, you guys have been amazing. I've been TrainerOblivio, and TrainerOblivio. Check it out. Have a good one, guys.